Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Minecraft Emporium. Today we're looking at yet another batch of your guys' comments from down in the description made into real world Minecraft builds, inspired as always by the comments you leave. And so before we continue with Comments to Contraption episode 2 with your host, me, Alex, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel, but also commenting your weird, peculiar, useful, useless contraptions down in the description. And if we get 5 likes, it's a lot, but I think we can hit it, I will consider continuing this series. Alrighty, we're gonna hop straight into things with the comment of the day, of course, by Rehab Bisher, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, who recommends building an armor shredder. And one thing I discovered when trying to design this was a way to prevent damage to the player while still dealing the amount of damage we want to the armor. And what I found is that no matter the amount of protection you have on the armor, it still deals the same amount of durability damage to that armor. For example, here we have protection for leather armor, just so the health bars are nice and quickly depleting. But if we put on unenchanted leather armor, of course we're going to take more damage, but the armor itself is not going to be taking any difference in the amount of damage. As you can see, the armor in my hotbar is completely identical. So what this means is that we can actually design systems which are quite incredibly compact and quite incredibly small, and even use things like regeneration beacons and resistance beacons so as to deal the limited amount of damage to the player, but the maximum amount of damage to the armor. Hopefully I'm making sense here, because what I learned was that it's not actually the damage dealt to the player which deducts durability damage to the armor. It's actually just a fixed flat rate by the amount of armor, by the amount of damage the player actually receives. And so if we step into this small little contraption here, we will be blasted with health 2 arrows, and as we sit and sink and bathe in the lava, our armor will be very, very quickly depleting in front of us. So hopefully that suffices for the whole concept for today's video. The armor shredder, as you can see, leather armor is absolutely being destroyed with this system here. So yeah, hopefully that does suffice. Now there's one more thing that obviously should be noted, in that certain armor types are actually slightly more susceptible to certain types of armor damage attacks. This is most notable, of course, with anvil droppers, because what we can do is by simply dropping an anvil on top of our head, we can absolutely demolish the durability of our helmet. And this methodology of destroying helmets is actually much better than anything you can do with lava or anything like that, because it's almost instantaneous, you know? Now there was one final idea that I had, and it involves the use of skeletons. Let me pull them up right here. And the idea is that Thorn's armor, if you didn't know, actually deals double the amount of damage of any other source to the armor itself. For some reason, it does the durability damage of the initial hit and the durability damage of the opponent, so it kind of does double. It's very odd and very strange, but what this means is that if we have a Thorns set of armor, here we have right here, we can sit in a pit of skeletons and have all of that damage instantaneously transferred to the armor in a really effective way. I'm going to be very wasteful here with harming 2 and healing arrows just so that I can actually provide an adequate demonstration, but if we stand in the middle here, again being blasted with healing 2 arrows, you can see how absurdly quickly our armor durability is being depleted, and that is because it is almost double of the fact of the whole lava demonstration I showed earlier. As you can see, our helmet is popped, our boots are about to pop, just about everything about this build is about to be destroyed. So I'm going to turn off the clock so we don't have an absolute mess on our hands, but hopefully that does... Oh, I didn't actually turn off the clock. That is deeply saddening. Now the next comment we're going to focus on is by Luke Wagner, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, who recommends build a duplication system. Well, my friend, that is actually really simple. By simply grabbing diamonds or any other item you want to duplicate out of a chest, at the instant it is moved, you can actually get it to duplicate. Not very good at it, but it is certainly possible. Moving very swiftly on, we have the final comment of the day, and that is building traps. Well, I always like to provide annoyance traps rather than actual damage traps, and so one of my favorites is the item blocker, in that as soon as you place items inside of a chest, the items are trapped inside, you could say. For actual damage traps, one thing I haven't seen too many people taking advantage of, which is actually a little bit unfortunate, is the fact that you cannot see through spruce doors, oak doors, warped and nether doors, and that means you can actually stick an observer up top to actually dispense some TNT. And let me tell you, if I didn't have that water there, this would be absurdly effective at killing and damaging your opponent, because you just literally cannot tell that there is an observer there. So yeah, that's probably going to do things. I do apologize if I'm absolutely rushing through things. I wanted to keep things nice and short and concise as always. And before you leave this video, if you're even still watching, please give the video a like just so I can continue the series, and please drop your comments down below so that I know what to build in the next episode. In any case, if you do enjoy redstone through a different magnifying lens, you could say, that is something a little bit quirkier, a little more curious, and a little more peculiar, do consider subscribing. It means the absolute world to me. And with that all out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and take care.